Hello and welcome back to another OMNIHEROES video. In this video we're just going to go through part 1 of the Lost City. Unfortunately I've got some bad news and I ended up clearing the Mystifiers synergy by mistake. I was testing out a team and ended up clearing that one, so we won't be able to go through that one today, so we'll just go from 2 to 6 I think in this one, and I'll show a couple of different teams, different team setups that you can run. So let's clear out all of our previous attempts. Let's jump into our Dawnbringers synergy and let's go for this synergy. So this is it will be the 2 strikers, but we've got 3 Dawnbringers, and we've done Ethereals before, we've done Valianters before, so this time is, I think, the turn of the Avengers, and what I will do is I'm going to pop 2 more Monarchs in there so that Sal can not get one shot effectively. We'll pop in Spear, although you can use Healing Vase in this slot. You can also use Blades of Chaos, and as always the Hand of Tyr, but we're going to take those 2 out. We're going to put in Spear, we will pop in... I think we will pop in Blades of Chaos and Hand of Tyr in this slot, just for the additional protection. And I think we should be good to go. So the way that the Strikers synergy will interact is that Sal and Atrops will build up their attack by 25% every round, and in doing so we'll be able to get a higher and higher attack value from Atrops by the end of this as well. Aphrodite will hopefully go ahead and steal a couple of the enemy units on her ultimate, so we'll just see. Instead of Aphrodite in this slot, you can put in Solomon and change around Atrops and Aphrodite, and Aphrodite would be replaced by Solomon, so you'd have 3 strikers and 2 Monarchs as well, potentially putting the Monarchs on the front row instead, just so that you have a stronger attacking team rather than a stronger defensive team. It's the way that I figure it. If you are struggling to survive a stage, you want Monarchs, and if you are struggling to do enough damage to kill the enemies, then you want a Strikers build. So it's another way around it as well. So hopefully we'll take out Persephone before the effect wears off. Yeah, there we go, perfect. We can retain Ellie and get the win. So that will be in under 6 rounds. Survivors 5 with HP 60% or more, and 3 Dawnbringers. So let's jump into this next stage. Valianters is next. So let's build a standard Valianters team. Get rid of our relics as well. And we'll jump into Valianters now. You can go ahead and build a standard Valianters team, something along the lines of having these 2 in the front, followed by, you could probably do Elune, you can do Themis and Christine if you are looking for a more free-to-play build, but we're not going to do that this time around. We are going to pop Hades in, we will pop in Macaria, and we'll pop in Victoria as well. And the reason for that is just so that we can, you and you, just so we can have 2 Monarch synergy in there as well. No Protectors synergy. You can replace Leandra for Victoria here. You can get 2 Protectors, and if you really want to go full Protectors, you'd pop Themis in. So let's try this setup. I will trade these 2. And just see how we do. So this is a 3 Protectors Valianter team. Again, I've been trying a couple of different Protectors synergies with... Sorry about that. It is what it is. just a messy day altogether today. But I have been playing around with Hades Protectors synergy, and I think that the best team for him to be on is probably Valianters, but you can also have him on the Dooms team as well as in the Ethereal's team as well. So just something to keep in mind there. Now we have been confused, so Themis and Hades have been confused, and as such it'll make it a bit more difficult for us, but fortunately we have taunted the enemies and Hades pushes through that confused damage there. We get the Execute on Lily and Leah, and that's because Hades does increase the Execute limit to 30. Unfortunately, Themis no longer triggers from that Execute. Unfortunately, it did happen when Hades first released. Is that the Execute trigger would kick off Themis's passive, which I think works so well, but they've removed it for whatever reason. So there you go, there's Valiant's under 6 rounds, and we do get the victory as well. So let's jump into the Verdian's synergy here. Let's go ahead, change these out. And we will go to our Verdian's synergy here. Now, there's a couple of different teams that you can build around. Having these three in here, you can build around these two and have an addition, something like Nawi in the team. Or you could have Lily and Leah in the team as well. You can also have the four Verdians and 4 Glorians with 2 Monarchs, and we just need 1 more Monarch to finish it off. Again, quite a capable team, I think. Potentially, we're looking at adding in, where have you gone? Audrey. If you don't have Audrey, Talinas, very good, I think, personally, from what I've seen of the Monarchs team. Very, very powerful, but we're going to put Audrey in and we'll stick you in the back. We'll go ahead, pop our relics in. Now, if you don't have Spear, you can replace it with the Lantern. Bear with me one sec. Sorry about that, just had to blow my nose. But what you can do, you can use the Lair, and you can also use Hand of Tyr as well. If you don't have the red relics available to you, but what we'll do is we're going to pop in Spear, Shield, and we'll pop in Hand of Tyr. The reason that I'm going to use Shield is primarily because of Audrey. Now, she doesn't trigger Awaken or Sanctuary, but what she does do is she transfers Shield. So Spear here, in case you don't know, in case you don't have it. So Spear, casting Spear grants allies shield points equal to 300 attack for 2 rounds. This shield increases target's max HP, but also gives shield, and then Hand of Tyr also gives shield as well. So every time Audrey receives shield, she then dishes it out to the rest of the team. So let's jump in and let's see how this team does in this particular matchup. Again, it is a Verdian synergy. If you do have Lily and Leah, their runes, they do pertain to having a number of Verdians on the team. Specifically, it makes it a lot tankier, or the Verdian's team a lot tankier. And the reason for that, as you can see, every time we do a Verdian synergy, or every time it triggers the Verdian synergy, we will get an increase of physical and magical defense. Lee also very good with that, in the fact that every time he is hit, he will increase his attack and he will increase his defense by 10%. If you do have his exclusive runes. Now we to do a fair bit of damage here, and then we'll hopefully get a lot of damage in from Audrey as well. Marina, putting in respectable numbers, and then Lee, hopefully, yeah, finish off Merlin there. And we also have stunned Athena as well, so I think that's very good. Hopefully we get, so we get the counter attack. Unfortunately, we've got Audrey down, which is a shame. So let's go ahead and see whether or not we can finish off this team toot sweet. Hopefully in under 6 rounds. I think this is the 5 survivors though, but we'll just see how the rest of the team does as well. Unfortunately, Audrey was the one that went down. It is a shame. She's not super tanky, Audrey, despite the kit that she has. It can be very glass cannony. So yeah, we didn't get 5 survivors with 60% HP or more. So what we're going to do, because we have the 3 Verdians there already, we're going to jump into our Glorians again, and we're going to pop Talinas in, and then now we've got 4 Monarchs in the team, and it just makes it so that we get that survivability, or the increased survivability as well. So we'll just see how this team performs compared to having Marina on the team. She's okay, Marina. She does the job, but she's nowhere near as good as having 4 monarchs on the team. So Nawi, what Marina does is she increases. We just saw Nawi proc them, and she did a lot of basic attacks. Effectively, she has 8 opportunities to do that when Marina is active, rather than the 4 that she would normally have. We see Lee getting these counter attacks in. We get the additional shielding as well, so hopefully we get increased survivability, especially with the increased HP and increased attack as well. It is a shame that we missed Katrina on that one, but as you can see, doing much more damage on this one, and that's because we have 2 Celestials on the team as well. And just move this out of the way and wait for Lee to finish his attack. But we do have 2, so at the start of battle, crit rate is increased by 15%, and then we don't get to find out. We don't get to find out what the rest is. But now we're there to finish things off. She is the ultimate Verdian, and one that you do need to run if you are going to try and beat that Verdian stage. The only other team that I would realistically suggest running within the Verdian synergy would be Doom's team. So you can run these 3 Dooms as Verdians, and you would get that Verdian synergy included in the Doom's team. But now we need to go on to Ethereals. Ethereals, pretty easy. I would suggest running these 2. Potentially Karnak if you do have him. Definitely Eudora if you do have her. But if you don't, then the alternative is to run Atrops and just have these 3. You can also run Ellie as well. So let me just pop Ellie in there. And you can run anybody else on here. I used to run this team, so it'd be Atrops, Dorabella and Katrina, having the Dawnbringers synergy. You've got 2 protectors in here as well, in Katrina and Karnak. You have 2 strikers in Ellie and Atrops. You've got your 4 Ethereals, so you hit your criteria, and I currently have 4 Light Seekers. Now, Light Seekers, in case you don't know, is effectively a smaller boost than the Royal synergy. So if we jump into the Royal synergy here, as you can see, the final part of the passive, each stack of buff an ally unit gets increases their damage boost and damage reduction by 2% if you've got 3 Royals in the team. Light Seekers is very similar. So if I jump into Light Seekers here, every 1 stack of buff gained by Light Seekers increases damage boost and damage reduction by 3% up to 20 stacks. So very powerful indeed. I'm going to go with the Chaos Orb, just because I think, for me personally, that is one of the best Ethereals, specifically Ethereals relics that you can pick up. You can also run Excalibur in this position. But for me, I think that we should go with Hammer, and we can also go with Demon Blade Whip as well, although you can go with the Scales just to add additional healing and debuffing as well. But I think we should be okay with this team. We'll jump in and just see how much damage Ellie, how much damage Dorabella and Katrina can do together. Obviously supported by Atrops and also supported by Karnak as well. Just in the fact that Karnak will heal everybody on the team whenever a crit is done, and Katrina will give that shielding as well whenever anybody on the team does get a crit. Now we increase the attack. The reason that we want to increase the attack as much as possible is Katrina's shields are that she gives out are based off her attack. So hopefully, yep, taking out a loon, and we've also stunned the back 2 as well. Unfortunately, a miss here, but we shouldn't see. Yeah, so Ellie to do a fair chunk of damage. She is very underrated. A lot of people don't use Ellie. I'm not too sure as to why. She's a fantastic unit between sort of really early game and mid game as well. And I do have her runes, but her runes just give 30% chance at increasing defense for 3 rounds. Not super important that you get those. I got those by accident. So yeah, is what it is. And then we've got one final round to go, which is the Shadow Arcs team now. The Shadow Arcs team has always, for me, it has always been a pain to run. The Shadow Arc team that I ran even before I had Mavis, I included, you know, units like Emily on the Avengers team, but primarily Ellie specifically because she is a Shadow Arcs unit. But now I've got a sort of a plethora of Shadow Arcs units to run. And I think, for me, the best units that I can go for are these three. And the reason for that is because they are Monarchs. There's no other Monarchs within the Shadow Arc team. I think they just need one more in order to function properly. But what we'll do, we're going to jump into Avengers, and we will pop in Aphrodite and Janet as well. Oh, there you go. There we go. Pop you in the front, pop you in the front, pop you in the middle. And what we'll do, so we do increase the synergy mates or the Monarch synergy mates HP by 300% because we have Halissa on the team. And what we want to do is we want to go Blades of Chaos and Hand of Tyr. The reason we want to go Blades of Chaos is because we need survivors equal to 5 with 60% HP or greater. And a cool trick, the reason that I'm including Janna on the team and not another Monarch unit to get that increased HP is because of the Stranger effect that she does. So even if Janna is the last one, is the only one to survive in this particular setup, what can happen is Janna can summon, say the rest of the units go down. So say in this particular instance, Sandra, Halissa, Mavis and Aphrodite all went down and Janna was the only survivor. She would summon 5 or 6 strangers into the empty slots. She would complete the mission and then as a result you would still get the correct or you would still pass the mission because that survivor filled that empty slot. Flipping it. Halissa putting in massive damage there. We do increase attack by 100 every time we remove a debuff on an enemy, and that is with Aphrodite. And she can get up to 1000% additional attack. So for me, very powerful indeed. Now I haven't had any revives yet, and we haven't had any deaths, so I wouldn't expect Mavis or Janna to be doing absolutely massive damage. But Halissa here able to carry quite a bit, in my opinion. And then we get the stun as well, so we got the percentage chance to stun, and then we can steal as well, so we stole with Aphrodite. And it looks like enemies aren't able to do enough damage to Sylvan in order to kill her, but it is what it is. And we even heal her. How generous of a captor are we? Yeah. But she does take up a lot of damage. She soaks up a lot of damage as well. But fortunately able to heal. We are applying stacks of corrode and attack debuffs as well. Fortunately able to take one of them down. And now Franz, and it's just Bjorn now, who we're waiting to finish off. Unfortunately it is a miss there. And Halissa, of course. She just does so much damage, you know. And Aphrodite, of course, builds up to that 1000% attack increase. Unfortunately, we didn't get the miss there. So yeah, Aphrodite to take the cake on this one. But yeah, that's about it. Let's have a look at the stats very quickly. So it looks like, yeah, in total, did a bit of corrode damage, but it was mainly Aphrodite that did the most. Now we did get the survivors equals 5 with HP 60% or more. We didn't get to see the interaction between Janna and this particular criteria to finish a mission, but I promise you it does work very well. So if you have any questions, or if you want to know any team builds, or if you want to know which units to replace for what, if you don't have the units, just let me know down below. And yeah, we'll leave it at that. Just want to say thanks very much for watching. I do hope you have a fantastic day, and if you could do me a massive favour and subscribe, it'd be really appreciated. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers so I can start earning some money from this. Yeah, if you want to help out with that, please do. You know, just click that subscribe button and then we can take it from there. So yeah, thanks very much for watching and I hope you have a fantastic day.